My name is Irene Levin, and I am from Czech Republic, what used to be Czechoslovakia. We were quite well-to-do. My father and his brother had a business, and everything was fine till I was about 11 years old. Then we lived in what they call Sudetenland, and Germans came in, so my mother took me. My father died just before that, and my mother took me to my grandmother in middle of Bohemia. It's called Pardubice, and I stayed there about a year. Then my mother married my father's youngest brother, and we moved to Prague. And when we were in Prague, then it started that we had to have like a passport. The men were Israel, and the women all had names Sarah. That's why I am not too I am not too happy to hear Sarah, because it brings bad memory. Then in Prague we had to go in the back of the streetcar and had our own Jewish sports park. Couldn't go to school anymore, so some ladies with children my age got a teacher, and every week we went to somebody else's house. And then the Jewish community had a school, and they tested us, and in no time we were sent to Terezin. I was 14 years old. Terezin really wasn't a concentration camp at that time, but it was a ghetto. They were going to make a beautiful town just for the Jews. But they put us in the old soldier barracks from Middle Ages. Everybody got one mattress. We were about 15, 20 women in one room. There were barracks for men and barracks for women. And there I worked in a garden, and I tried to help wherever I could. I got all kinds of sicknesses there. I had hepatitis, I had ear infection, I had well, anything you can think of. I guess that's why I am healthy now, with all that behind me. My mother and I stayed together till they opened the town for a movie. They were making movie for Red Cross to show how well we lived, and allowed us to move into people's houses, because they evacuated also non-Jewish people from Terezin. We were again about 10 girls in one room, and we did little singing, and we had little education, not too much. And that lasted till spring of 1944, when they put us on the cattle cars and sent us to Auschwitz. There we didn't stay too long, but they divided us. They wanted the women or girl over 14 on one side and women with little children on the other side. And my mother said, I have a child. And I said, no, I am the one, you keep her with me. And we went then to be checked out, and the other half went to the ovens. They put us in a different camp, checked us from top to bottom. We got some dirty clothes to put on, and they took us to Christianstadt, what was a factory town, and we were shoveling snow into railroad cars to cover the factories. There we stayed till winter. And then during the winter we started walking the whole way. Christianstadt was north of Czech Republic, but was Czechoslovakia. But Slovakia went by itself. And we walked all the way down past our town, but we couldn't leave. At night we slept in farmers' buildings there with the animals. One time we got for supper potato peels, and when we looked at it in the morning, it was with strawberry prepared for his pigs. And that way we went to south of Bohemia, got in a train, again cattle cars, and went to Bergen-Belsen. Over there, my mother couldn't stand up anymore, so they put those people who were handicapped or starved in a truck and drove them away, and I never seen her again. And we were put in big barracks. We had only enough room to sit. If we wanted to lay down, we had to lay down on the other person behind us lap. And every morning we had to go out of the barrack. They counted us, and they went inside to pick up the dead bodies. Across from our barrack was a big barrack with gypsies, and they would run over and try to steal our little package of beer. But they were in the same bad trouble like we were. Then suddenly everybody got happy, running around, getting tents, and we found out that the English army was there. The Germans disappeared, and we all were put in a decent buildings. But we all had typhus. I heal well, so I wasn't too sick. And those other women, they worried about their food because they were not used to getting food every day at a certain time, so they were hiding it under their pillow. And a lot of food went then uneaten in a room. I found it there and I started stealing some till I was caught. Said, no, you get enough food here, you don't have to take. And then after English were there, they put us in the same trains and we went back to Prague. And my so-called uncle, who was my stepfather, was there. He escaped Auschwitz, and I stayed there a couple of years. Uncle who was from Vienna, and his wife was my mother's cousin. Wrote every place to see who come back, and I answered I come back, and they brought me here to United States.